I'm gonna block this whack-ass mix-up. Why did I make this PowerPoint presentation? I want to say maybe around a month ago, there's a video going around called Fighting Game Mix-Ups, but they get increasingly unfair. We watched it on LK Chronicles, and I was, let's say, not very impressed. And it is named for this.
I love the double perfects. Oh shit, crush. I'm gonna block this whack-ass mix-up.
Very famous moment. We love K-Brad in these streets, right? But the thing is, mix-ups are some of the most like interesting and flashy things about fighting games, and even people who don't play know that like something weird or crazy is going on when it's very cool. And a nice thing too is, unlike a combo, cool combos, you're literally just watching the combo. But unlike a combo, even if your only option is to just block, the opponent is also part of this. I hate to sound like a fucking business person, but the experience, you know, your ability as a player to find and use both reliable, stable mix-ups and mix in very tricky, very visually jarring mix-ups is a very important part of becoming a good fighting game player. So to start, we have to look at what are mix-ups, what are actual mix-ups, right? And I have this breakdown of what this presentation is going to be. So we're going to talk about what is a mix-up, what is not a mix-up, what is a good mix-up, my critiques on this video, and actual mix-ups that get increasingly unfair. Okay? Actual ones, in my opinion. Jarring stuff. Okay? So first, what is a mix-up? I am being dead ass. What is a mix-up? So my best friend Infil has made this, right? A situation where the offensive player has several ways to attack that each require a different defensive action to stop, such as blocking different directions and avoiding throws. Most mix-ups contain several fast options that are extremely difficult or impossible to avoid on reaction, and thus the defensive player must make a read to try to escape damage. So I think it's a good definition of mix-up, but my expert definition is a situation where the defender is forced to defend against two or more options that would connect at the same time, aka same frame, or close. Within 2, within 3, that's fine, right? Much simpler definition, and this also prevents people getting into the weeds with certain things, which we'll touch on later. So one thing that fighting games do that's very annoying is they call things mix-ups that I would not define as mix-up. So for example, we have this clip right here. This is from an old video that I made. This is I made a video about the term fuzzy, both defensive and offensive fuzzies. This is the defensive fuzzy guard. I actually like calling this option select guard instead. So the concept here is that if the mix-up of a high and a low don't hit at the same time, then you can block both by blocking high, switching low, or blocking low, switching high, etc. So I'm gonna do the mission. I'm gonna add some info. Okay. Oh, okay, I see where it is. There it is. So fighting games really like saying shit like this is a fucking mix-up, right? Every tutorial I've played, every single one I've played, has some shit where they're like, block this mix-up, and it's two things that don't hit at the same time. It's just two things that don't hit at the same time. Leo's dust is slower than the low. I know Leo players are crazy, but they would not, in any circumstance, do 2D for a low or dust for a high. They would just not. It just does not work like that. So if you needed clearing up on what a mix-up is, if you could hit this fella, it's a mix-up. There you go. This is the goal. Hit him. If it doesn't hit, it's not a mix-up. If it hits, it's a mix-up. So what is a good mix-up? So I've grouped all mix-ups into 7 categories. I'm not a 3D player, so I don't know if there's like some secret Tekken sorcery or Soul Calibur sorcery or something like that. But for starters, there's strike throw, real, air dash, high low, F-shikis, and instant overheads. So let's talk about offensive fuzzies, right? Left-right mix-ups, corner steals, collision box mix-ups, and then no or a broken cross-up protection. And we're going to go through each one. So first, we're going to talk about strike throw for real. And this is strike throw for real.
You might be like, what the hell did I just watch?
Okay. If you play like Arxis games, it's not easy to strike throw people because the games have a lot of like protections around throw. There's throw invincibility when you exit hit stun, when you exit block stun, when you get up, okay? In Street Fighter 6 though, one of the biggest complaints is about throw loops because that game, to my knowledge, has a 2-frame throw protection, which is significantly less than Guilty Gear. And not only that, a lot of the more classic defensive techniques that you would use against throws that existed in Street Fighter 4 all got removed in Street Fighter 5. So like fuzzy jumping, fuzzy backdash, all these things are weaker.
That means in Street Fighter, strike throw is a legitimate 50-50. So what you're watching here, even though it's very funny, this is a one-player mode thing. These fridges, he gets thrown, and now he gets struck here. He gets struck here, starts blocking, gets thrown by the one fridge, and then gets thrown by another fridge, and then gets thrown by another fridge, and then gets thrown. You can see though, low key, but he is truly getting looped. Next is air dash high, land low. This is the classic. This is probably the first mix-up you have actually learned, unless you play like really specific games. This is the classic. And the title is pretty straightforward, so.
Biaki with the throw in the corner, trying to set up. Oh, overhead with the bread and butter. There goes for the loop. Oh, what?
This character has 2 air dashes, so she has multiple ways of doing air dash 50-50s. So in this case, I could land, let's say, I can land around, right around here. I could land and do 2A, or I could do air dash, delay air dash JC. She could do air buttons into air dash. Like, it's a very common, classic type of mix-up. A lot of characters in a lot of anime games have this. You have this in versus games. This thing is very common. Into a combo. Very, very, very classic. Next, we have the F-shiki and instant overheads. Some of you who play Dragon Ball would call this the fuzzy meta. So F-shiki, this is named after, this is a very, we be flaming Smash players. I probably should have put a slide about this, but we flame Smash players for like how they name shit. And then we're like, oh my god, like nice F-shiki, bro. But it's a Japanese term. And this came kind of into popularity because like talking about fuzzies got a little, let's say, convoluted because there's fuzzies on defense and fuzzies on offense. So some people started calling it F-shikis instead. But F-shiki quite literally means the F special. There's a player named F, and it's like the F tech, the F special. So for example, in Persona, there is LordKnight shiki in Persona, which is using the anti-air to beat fuzzy jumps. That's the LordKnight shiki. There's a lot. It's just this player special tech. That's all it is. At this time, I kind of call these offensive fuzzies just to be more clear in my videos and stuff. So here, of course, I had mentioned the fuzzy meta, so we're going to use Dragon Ball.
Up, and so it begins once again.
Here we go. Oh, caught him.
Fuzzy. We got the universalist of fuzzy. Universalist? Is that a word? It's a word now. Forget it. We out here. I made it a word. All right, we back with the most universalist of fuzzies. Oh, I like he didn't want to hold
Just
that.
lurking,
He
but
didn't want to hold that. He gotta hold it again.
He's gonna have to keep holding.
Pain.
Oh, fuzzy wuzzy.
Man, you ever been on the phone for so long with customer support?
Yo.
What happened in this clip?
This is a long clip. It's Dragon Ball. Fights are long in Dragon Ball. So, one, I know someone already said in chat, it's not fair you use Super Broly, but one of the things that came from the end of Dragon Ball FighterZ Season 2 is this universal fuzzy. So this is a fuzzy that works on all characters, but it's with air dash. Like this. Okay? So he got hit by it. Now he's a spectator. Boom, 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 boom. And then here again, we go for it again. But with a little dash, I blocked the sparking. So now he is in pain. No assists. In block stun. Pretty much has to hold this. Blocks this overhead. And because he blocked the overhead, I'm like, You know what, man? I'm gonna assume he's going to guess high again. I'm not gonna go low. I'm gonna go the layered route. So I do the overhead and fuzzy him off that. Most people do not block this. This is a path to death, by the way. He's gonna get spirit bombed and then it's over. This was so good, and people complain about this so much that they nerfed it. But in hindsight, I don't think the reason why they nerfed it was because they thought it was too good, actually. I think the reason, like, after playing more Dragon Ball and, you know, think about the game and stuff, I think the main reason why they actually nerfed the fuzzies is because people thought they couldn't play characters, and they don't want that. And I think their number one goal of DBFZ is they want you to feel like you can use any character. So people are like, you can't play Cell, you can't play Broly, you can't play Vegito, and they don't like that. Left, right. Left, right mix-ups. And for the first time ever, I'm not going to use Claw doing fucking shoop, well, 18 times, right? So instead, I'm going to use Street Fighter 4. This is from NetPlay, but this is all you need to see. And this is not me. I think Akuma's sick. Into Rage Quit. Okay. So at this point, by the way, if you started in 2009 with Street Fighter 4, you are a boomer. You're a fighting game boomer. Congrats. I really wanted to find like older stuff. And I low-key want to use Cammy, but you know, Akuma's iconic, right? So in this game, it's gonna take a little bit, but Akuma can jump, and he could dive kick you to go same side, or he could use Tatsu to go cross. Ryu had that thing too, where he goes like jump roundhouse in the front, or Tatsu to cross, and it also made reversals go the wrong way, so it was very hard to defend against this, right? So he gets the knockdown, does a Tatsu, beats DP again, goes same side, he tried to mash, and now boom. This is very common. Honestly, they were calling this game Vortex Fighter, Mix Fighter, and they tried to do stuff, like there's delay tech and stuff like that, to fight against this. Left-right mix-ups are very good, and in my opinion, they're low-key the best common mix-up, right? Because after this, we leave the realm of commonality, of peasants, of standard reading, and we enter the depths of the vortex, right? The abyss of the mix-up iceberg. So I think I put left-right here after F-shiki because I actually think they're better. The main reason they're better is all the stuff we had before, right? So the strike throw, which, you know, yes, it's a 50-50 if there's no throw protection or whatever, but the answers are pretty clear. High-low and F-shikis you can't see anyway, so, you know, you just guess. But once you get here, this is, it starts playing with you as a human, because it looks visually jarring, like you're supposed to be somewhere and then you're not where you're supposed to be. Especially this. Let's go back here real quick and put this dive kick in slow motion. Like he should keep going. He just stops. You know? So take a look again. So his first mix, we gotta go to the Tatsu first, so my bad. So here's a Tatsu, he keeps going, right? But then when he does dive kick, he just stops. It's very, very visually jarring and very strong. So I'm a big fan of left-right. I'm always looking for left-right mix-ups because I think they're very powerful. The corner steal. Now we're getting cheap. The corner steal. If the name doesn't ring any bells, this is when you get in the corner where you're not supposed to be.
Oh my There we go with the dash on in for the throw. Empty jump. This time, gonna get strung up.
Yep. He took the corner theft of the highest caliber, and this under side swap, that was clean.
So, what is happening here? I am using Baiken's tether to pull them out of the corner. And it has to be done a very specific way. It's a little hard to see, but you see this rope being pulled, right? The rope gets pulled, and Sin is now out of the corner. You have to specifically pull him out the corner with tether to do this. And you can fuck it up. You can fuck this up. Now, and on top of this, thanks to the tether, I get a favorable situation because I can switch sides like this. Very powerful.
Very powerful, very hard to find. Some games have quarter steals, like, period, right? Like Street Fighter 4 that we were just talking about. The opponent is never in the corner. You just take the corner from them, right? So in games like that, it's like kind of expected. But in games where the opponent is all the way in the corner, this type of mix-up is extremely strong if you can actually find a reliable way to do it. Okay, now collision box mix-ups. You might be like, what the fuck are you talking about? What is a collision box mix-up? The way we would define this, right? I should be here, but I'm not for some reason. That's a collision box mix-up. It might still sound weird until you see it.
So, fortunately, I have a simple example. And then again, it's with Baiken.
Reach him up. Oh, there we go. Actually, heavy Kabari instead.
Nice bait!
Ooh.
Big punish. Good starter as well.
Last Kabari. Follow up.
Oh!
To the base.
I ain't gonna lie.
The question is,
I ain't gonna lie. I thought that was a cross-up too.
Do you understand Yipes? Do you understand Yipes? This is actually a clip that we have to revisit. Do you understand what Yipes is saying?
This mix-up is actually a test of how good you are at the game, because there's some people who watch me do this mix-up who are like, LK hits people with safe jumps. That's very weird. But if you look at this carefully, you'll see what actually ends up happening, and we're actually gonna make it even slower because it's a small window to do this. But she should cross, and she doesn't. She hits him where she should cross, right? And there's you can kind of get it if you're a true, whoa, I went way too far back. I was gonna say, if you're a true master, you can get it. You can get it so like it looks like Baiken appears here and then gets like pulled into the front. It looks really, really jank. Very jank. Yes, you use the collision box of your opponent to stop you. This is very tricky to set up, but if your character has a way to do this, it's quite strong. I see a little confusion. JH is not making me fall faster. If you do this wrong, you will literally fly over Happy Chaos. There is a reason why this is not the common Baiken mix-up. When I explain Baiken mix-ups, I don't recommend people do this. I recommend people do the common one. The one where people super jump back and do air dash forward FDC. This one took me a while to learn how to get. But basically, you need to do this in a way so that you don't clear him. And here is a decent one. You see, I'm kind of supposed to go over him, and then I don't. Again, hard to set up, but if you can do it consistently, if you have a character that has something that lets you do it consistently, it's very strong. And then the last one, okay? What happens when there is no cross-up protection?
Hold this damage, hold this combo, and this setup. Oi, hey, Johnny. Oi!
Now, whether or not this was a properly done mix-up, I don't know. I don't actually think my opponent broke cross protection here. I low-key think I was like holding up or something. The point of this clip is, what if there's no cross protection and someone has a move like this? The reason why there's cross-up protection is because of really funky situations like this, right? Very funky, like, oh, there's a projectile here, but I'm over there, and then, like, we're moving. So, like, when Tomberry does this to me, okay? So they jump over me, and Johnny's pulling me out, and then they double jump, and I get pushed by the projectile. Maybe I got hit, maybe I didn't. I legitimately cannot tell you, right? And regardless, they didn't convert. Okay, but French bred games actually have very severe cross-up protection, right? Because there's so many moves like this in this game, like this. there is this move, and actually yesterday, I think I spent like 4 hours looking for footage of the Actress Again version that doesn't have cross-up protection, because the launch version, so not version A, before version A of Actress Again, there's a version before that. And there's no cross-up protection in that game. So there's a shit ton of moves. This move is like, I'm going to make up a number. I know it's wrong. It's like 9 hits. So what if this move that's 9 hits, they start in the front and then they go over you while you're getting hit multiple times. And you're in boxer the whole time. What happens? You have to switch. And where the fuck do you switch? You can't tell. You can't really tell, right? So it's not just this. There's the Johnny, there's the Cactus, there's all these moves that are like many hits that like the devs are like, nah, that should be way too broken. Our game would be a fucking joke if this was a mix-up, right? But people found a way, okay? So this is the standard way of breaking cross-up protection in multiplayer. By the way, if you haven't seen this shit looks cool. This shit looks very cool, by the way. I think this shit's sick. Alright, did you hear the inputs? Why? Why do they have to do it like this? So, again, the point is, this game has very extreme crossup protection. So, what people do is they super jump over, okay? And when they super jump over here, right, there's no crossup. So what they do is, especially characters that have, because Satsuki and some other characters, their air backdash doesn't go very far, right? So she can go over back this way, okay, for a same side, but there's not really a crossup option because even if her jump C can hit this way, like on this side, which it kind of can, she goes like meh, like that. That's her jump C basically, but it's like this, like that. Okay, so if she hits you with jump C here on this side, nothing's really gonna happen. You know, you're just gonna block it fine. So what they do is they go over and double jump to the original side and then air dash and hit the button. And that's how they do it. And what the game thinks when you do this is it's not thinking you're doing a cross up. It's like, oh, you're just on this side. Oh, the game's like, oh, that's not a cross up. It's same side. They're facing the right way. they're facing this way, so it's same side, and they have their block the right way. And that's how people do it. And in slow mo, it looks pretty whatever, right? Looks pretty whatever. But in practice, when you actually see it, it is quite fast. Yes, it looks cool, but this shit is blockable. Okay. However, one, this is faster than you think. Two, now you have to deal with the original the normal super jump back. Sorry, super jump forward, air dash back JC. Both are very fast, and normally this is a kind of a specific example for the corner. But in mid screen, she's jumping from very far, and she has like same side and cross up low options as well on your body. So she's incredibly difficult to defend, this character. Side note, this character is one of those, you can't block her, so you might as well guess on parry, because the parry turns it from a four-way, a legitimate four-way, to like a 50-50. Anyway, so this leads us to this. This is what happens when there's no cross protection. Guard Crush and Strive has no throw protection and no cross protection. Or if it does have cross protection, it's very small. But you can get cross up in block stun by many hits. Okay, so I'm doing all the hits, whatever, fine. And just at any point, he could just teleport and 50-50 you. At any point. This is not realistic, by the way. I have the item super doing like a kajillion meteors just to make it more clear, because the meteors actually have a random pattern of where they fall. But just him doing meteors into teleport is very, 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 very threatening. This is what many people are trying to avoid, but is a system mechanic in this game. But this thing is incredibly rare in fighting it. Like, many games don't have this, and if they do, it's usually like a team game where people would probably say the game is kusoge, because this is like the most extreme. This is the most extreme type of mix-up you could deal with in a 2D fighter. Stuff where there's no cross protection and you have to defend things that are many hits. It's essentially unblockable, even though it's like not. So with that, now that you understand what is a mix-up and my ranking of the strength of mix-ups, let's talk about my problems with that video. So first we gotta talk about good stuff. Okay, let's talk about good stuff.
Right back in his item!
Don't make the side switch. That's it. Item.
That's a sick mix-up, right? Honestly, let's be honest. This is on the scale. This is definitely on the scale. Just like this. He kind of retreats before doing it. That's what kind of makes this one really cheap. This is definitely a good corner steal. So it's not like there's not good mix-ups in this video, by the way. But there's some stuff that's kind of whack. For example,
Off well from Featherine, 200 bar to their name. All right, let's see if the mix works this time. Floating up, floating down. Where are we going? Oh! breaking the champion's ankles here.
The commentators even let you know that it was not a mix-up. They're like, his ankles are broken, aka he got shimmied. The person got shimmied. And as you mentioned, this is not a mix-up. This is a mental stack. So was Featherine in Clear Lamp's head? Yes. Is this a mix-up? No. Especially LordKnight has not only good throat protection, but there's a shit ton of defensive techniques in this game. And not only that, the game teaches you almost all of them or all of them. I think in Uni 2, they just teach you all of them. You know? So while it's a funny shimmy, this is not a mix-up, unfortunately. Not by my expert definition. Another thing we have to talk about is the commentary, right? So a big thing of the previous clip was the commentators like, oh, he broke his ankles! Okay? Here's an example. Let's watch this together.
Looking to get more, but for now forced to block once again into the corner. The Alpha Blade a bit too hard, anti-jump. JJ News is really mixing it up right now. He's looking really hard. 75th mix in a row, 77th mix. There we go.
If you watch this, let's watch this with no commentary.
The pressure of Coffee.
What is Chip doing? He does a slow cross-up Alpha Blade, same side low 2K2D, same side JS into a reset, same side low 2K2D, same side whiff into throw.
Okay? That's without commentary.
So, what point am I trying to make here? They pretty much, I think some clips in this video were selected because of the commentary, right? So, when you listen to Damascus, pretty sure it's Damascus that's on the mic here, he's talking about, oh my god, this mix crazy, mix, he's going in, right? But when you watch it, especially with our current definitions, it is a cross-up, this is a trick, right? This is a trick, but it worked. Okay? Into a reset, into low key can be blocked, 2K2D, into OTG setup. Okay, go same side, this is tricky. Okay, resets with a fast cross-up. And then again, low key can be blocked again, and then goes for another reset. A bunch of the resets they go for have enough of a gap that you could like fuzzy something or something like that, right? But when you break it down, you're like, all right, like it's fine, but does it warrant this reaction? No, but it's their job to make it hype. That is. I mean, this is kind of what we're talking about, right? So there's another example of this from the same video.
The FRC there to keep it up afterwards. Overhead connects.
Getting counter hit.
UTV's down on the field. Overhead once more.
Oh, it's looking like a mixtape right now. Stop it, Swell. Oh, yo, look at this.
Oh, wait, is this gonna be the... Oh, wait, you just turned around? You had me in the corner, now it's your turn. Let's go, dog.
This is how you do it. This is how you rock.
Are you kidding me? Yes. Give me the thievery.
Oh, what?
Gold burst gets used.
Now let's watch it with no commentary, and I'll explain what's going on. So there's resets of Testament, run out with Zappa, throw, dog. So dog has an overhead where you see this? This is 4D. There is a follow-up to this that's basically into overhead. Right there. And it's very tricky to deal with because Zappa can run up at the same time. And you can choose to not do the follow-up, things like that. So they keep up pressure and they're using this. It's all kind of like a combo. You reset with the overhead. Accidental goal burst. Scramble happens. Burst. Stuff's on the screen. Runs up. Far slash into that. Okay. This is cheap. These are two cheap characters doing two cheap things to each other. And this is another example of, I think this is in this video because there's a guy in the background being like, look at the mixtape, look at the mixtape, look at the mixtape. It is hard to do commentary well and like express, because this is cheap. This is, I confirmed, I asked, I have a plus R contact, a reporter on the field, Barbar, right? When I have a question about plus R for clarification on characters I don't know about, I ask Barbar. And he was like, yes, this is cheap, but it's not mix-up highlights cheap. It is just normal cheap. It's standard cheap. So is this very strong? Yes, this is crazy that Zappa has a 14 frame overhead that he could run behind and hit low almost at the same time. Maybe unblockable. It's not new, it's not crazy. It's funny enough, it's standard. It's standard, but a combination of if you don't know the game, because okay, sure, I know Testament, but I don't really know Zappa, so I watched it originally. I'm like, I literally don't know what's happening, right? The impact of commentary will affect how you react to what's happening, especially if you don't know the game. And commentary is really important. Okay, remember I said I was going to circle back to something. Listen to this again. This clip.
Oh, there we go. Actually, heavy Kabari instead.
Nice bait!
Ooh.
Big punish. Good starter as well.
Last Kabari. Follow up.
Oh!
To the bench.
I ain't gonna lie. I thought that was a cross-up too.
Yeah, I got you too.
Right? Did you heard that? That is the like if you watched this and you did not know what I was doing, you would have been like, wow, this dude gets hit by safe jumps. Why? But the impact of commentary, Yipes goes, whoa, what was that? I think I got hit by that. I thought he was gonna go over. I'm not sure St. Cola is a GOAT. I know he doesn't play Strat that much. I'm not sure he would even know from seeing that the first time. But Yipes specifically was like, oh shit, like I thought he was gonna go over and he didn't. The impact of commentary is very important for people understanding what's going on and the level of cheapness we're dealing with, right? Then we gotta talk about Street Fighter V. This video is full of Street Fighter V, and I think the main problem that people had with so much SF5 being represented in this video is that in newer fighting games, right? Let's say it feels a little bit heavy-handed. Like you feel the devs being like, oh, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. I want you to do this. With this movie, do this. That type of thing, right? And the thing is with the Street Fighter mix-ups, you have moves like this, the kunai, or Aegis Reflector. You have moves that, like, when you do them, the viewer, the commentator, the player, and the defender are all like, oh shit, it's mix-up time. The move is made for mix-up. As opposed to some situations kind of being like mathed out, or like people find like a weird thing about a character that leads into something. So for example, this
has been well known to throw out some trickery to get out of the corner. That fierce conversion is going to be huge. Look at the damage racking up. Can he go into another trap? Here we go. Soul Butters.
Oh, on the delay ride.
God.
On the delay ride.
Tell me you blocked that.
I'm assuming everyone here has some experience in fighting games. Tell me that whether or not you actually blocked this.
Whether or not you actually blocked this, right? The commentator's like, you didn't block that, right? I don't know. I'll be real. I have no idea if it's left, right, or whatever.
When you see Rose set this,
do you not think something is coming? This is the point I'm trying to make about this, right? Some things that people list are like, oh my god, this thing was really cheap. Some of these things, the game tells you, like the developers tell you with the move, something is coming.
Right? It is very, very clear.
I don't really know what happened. I guess it's a cross-up, but she tells you 2 times. One like subtle and one like not subtle. She tells you she's going to do a mix-up here, maybe. A mix-up might come here. And then a mix-up is definitely going to come here. I don't know what. I don't know what it's going to be. But even with like 6 months of fighting games under your belt, you see a projectile on or behind you, something is going to come. Something's going to happen. And Street Fighter, I feel like Street Fighter V was, at least for me, the first game outside of like NRS games where there seems to be a lot of that.
I do want to address something because I didn't put it in this presentation, but I want to talk about Hellzone Grenade a pinch.
Okay. People are like, this move is super cheap. You can't see. You can't see. Brothers, sisters, everybody. As soon as you see this, you're getting mixed. You know, that's the point I'm trying to make. You know something is coming. It's not about whether you can or can't see it. The game is telling you, hey buddy, guess what? You are about to fucking get mixed.
I just want that to be clear. Is it cheap? Yes, but it is standard levels of cheapness. With all that out the way,
let's talk about fighting game mix-ups that actually get increasingly unfair.
We are going to go through the chart again.
And we got to start with strike throw, for real.
Alright, so this is still in the game. What I'm about to show you is still in Guilty Gear Strive.
The power of my dark mode.
What is happening, you might ask? So this is
when you get put in situations when you get put in situations where you don't have throw protection and you have something that is moving independently of you, you can create unblockables. This is the main reason so many anime games have throw protection, because many characters in anime games have projectiles that move independently of them and are plus, like advantage or something. So this type of situation can be built where you set up a projectile with the guard crush, and if they do nothing, you grab them. If they do something to escape, they get hit by the projectile. So essentially unblockable. It can still be done now, but I don't think this is as good as last patch. I think last patch this is like realistic to hit, by the way. Because of wall assault and like all the meter build and shit. I think this is realistic for May to do. In this patch, it's not so realistic because it's pretty unlikely you'll have the 100 on offense like this. Is this mix? This is literally an unblockable. It's what happens when they because this is what happens when they let you do this because of no throw protection. This is the most extreme, and why they have throw protection is so you can't do this shit. Anytime this exists, this is unfair. Then we have air dash high and low. Okay,
so this is the classic. Low key,
air dash high low is such a standard type of mix-up that it's not actually ever cheap, really. So the main ways that these become like unfair is when there's a lot of option coverage for some reason. This is something that if you watch the stream for a while, you will know I've got extremely memed for this, but this is extremely powerful and actually very cheap because it is using the proximity guard in my air dash high low to make it so that I cannot be guard cancelled. Okay, there's a certain timing of when you land. The lowest priority action you can do is block, and you can cancel that proximity block into certain actions, and one of them is jumping. So it makes it so that if they dead angle, aka guard cancel, the first hit of the disc, because disc gets 2 hits, then I block. So it looks like this. Right, I block it and it's punishable. And then the second hit, if they do the guard cancel / dead angle on the second hit, the proximity guard activates, and I cancel it, and I back jump, and I get a fat ass combo. I got a huge combo. Air dash high low, basically the most cheap version of it, because it's such a standard mix-up in fighting games, 2D fighters specifically, is usually just with option coverage. If you have like extreme option coverage for some reason, because usually there's ways to sneak out of this if you have like some type of resource or something between DP, RC, or like certain guard cancels. There's usually ways of like wiggling out of this. People, if you take this game for example, dead angle against disc is very common counterplay. So having something that stops it, that stops many of them, is extremely powerful and forces people to do more risky things or just die. F-shiki and instant overheads. Okay, this one is a little interesting because we're still in common territory, because I feel like especially around that 2015 era of fighting games, since devs were really outside of Xrd, because Xrd comes out at like the end of the 2009 cycle, right? In my opinion, Xrd plays like an older game than it actually is, right? So starting from like around SF5, I think devs have a lot of this move is a mix-up, right? Which means you have to get in the situation to do the move that's a mix-up, which of course pisses players off. So one thing that became common was people trying to find these type of mix-ups, some type of instant overhead F-shiki. I pretty much think it's if you can maintain your advantage after, or if you could put them in places where people don't expect them. Because most people expect the character to be very tall, so that you do like a deep jump in and a rising thing. So if you can find a way to do it on either smaller characters or do it in like weird spots, unusual spots, then you'll catch a lot of people off guard. So I don't know about you guys. I don't know how tall Soul is. He's not that much taller than Milia. So this is not a place you would expect
an instant overhead to come. It's not as place you would expect an instant overhead to come, and it's done in a kind of nasty way of because of the timing. You notice that I land. So my timing of, since there's air dash high low, most fighting game players will stand block when they see you in the air. Where the spot where I land here, you're blocking the disc high, which enables this. It's an incredibly fast overhead. Okay, so the main things that people could do is to block low, like block the disc low, which opens them up to the original air dash high low, because you have to stay crouching for that to not work. And on my side, I could see, like, just on my way down, I'm like, oh, are they still standing or not? This was a very tricky style of mix-up, and she keeps her advantage because you end with JH. And if we circle back to what we were talking about before, about option coverage, there's also this in the same clip. Good job, past me. And also base DPs. It bases DP on top of that. So you can't DP it. You can DP it. There's a layered option in it if you know about it. If you don't know about it, it just basically hits you. But even though there's high-low options, and the low option is high damage as well. And we go to left-right. Now we are leaving the realm of commonality once again. And finally, I know people have been waiting for this. The Kill Sage gave me this. Fucking hate watching this. Alright, yeah, he's spitting. Okay, so what just happened? What just happened? If you were like, man, LK, those first mix-ups were mid, like the first one, it was unblockable, it wasn't a mix-up, or like, oh, like an air dash thing, I mean, I guess it's cool that you fucking jump away from the dead angle or whatever. Or like, you know, like that air dash fuzzy, like, you know, low key, I blocked that. Okay. But remember, I ordered them based on how unfair I thought they were. So now that we're at left rights, we're starting to go to the dark place, the dark lands. She can restand you. And to my knowledge, this game only has crossup protection when you push block. Okay. So with the restand, honestly, the world is just yours. Of course, in 1-4 speed, this does not look fast. Right? I mean, to be honest, it looks pretty fast. Oh, it's half speed. The only thing that's even telling you you're getting mixed is the combo counter. Is it only on Big Band? No. He actually sent me a couple others, but I just use this one because I think it's the most clear. It's the most clear that you're getting, like, destroyed. So now we move to corner steals. Corner steals are always cheap because corner steals is like, that's your beginning of, I'm not supposed to be here, why is this happening to me? So first, I have to do the classic for BB people. We have to do the classic. Did you block that? Be honest. Be honest. Be honest. Hell no. You might be thinking, okay, how the fuck did you do that? Alright, I'll show you. Let's put it in 1-4 speed. So here you do the DP. Okay, DP knockdown. Overdrive. Overdrive is die shedding. Okay, so the super was so broken, they changed it to overdrive. Activate die shedding. Okay. You might be like, there's even here, there's no corner space, right? But for whatever reason, she could do that. What just happened, you might ask? I am using... Okay. I'm using the barrier. Lychee's crouch is smaller than the FD animation. It's not like Guilty Gear. In Guilty Gear, the FD is a general orb around you. In BlazBlue, the barrier is like a literal shield. And Lychee is smaller than the barrier. So you run under their tech and they do a flip. So because of this, Valkenine is higher than he's supposed to be. And then she has this move, her 2C. Her 2C always advances her and then retracts her original position. But because Valkenine is higher than he's supposed to be,
you pull him out of the corner. You push him out of the corner, and then you go in the corner. And then you get hit by this shit. And then you go boom, and you put him right back where he started. There you go. Yes. Have I done this in tournament? Plenty of times. By the way, plenty of times. This shit is mad cheap, and even if they block it, of course, you have dice shitting, so you just keep going.
Another example. Persona with my wife, Mitsuru.
Be honest. Did you block that? Did you block this? Be honest. Why does a footsie character have mad corner mix? No. LMAO, no. Hell no. Alright, let me explain. Okay. So, this game is very funny. This is definitely a gimmick, by the way. This is definitely a gimmick, but this is a funny gimmick. This definitely hits you the first time. And it is cheap. It is cheap. You need to know the rules of this game, because not all Arxis games work this way. So, what am I talking about? So first, I do Aegis Reflector. Just kidding, it's a Bufala. So in this game, this move is extremely broken, and it covers almost all reversals in the game, and you can't roll. So you have to block a high-low 50-50, right? People say that the high-low is fuzzyable, but all you have to do is delay the low, and now they're fucked, okay? So she has instant overhead or delay 2A. Basically, it's a standard mix-up, and you can do timing shenanigans. Instead, though, I use the block stun to run up and do her sword super. Setsuna, her sword super. It's a multi-hitting sword super. Why the fuck would I do this? Well, if you watch Mitsuru, she's gonna stab. One, ba 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 ba. And right here, okay, you have to go back. This is the important part. She vacuums you in when she does the kick. When she does the kick, she pulls you out the corner. And you're like, okay, but you could see the vacuum. However, after the vacuum, I run forward and push them back in the corner and cross up anyway. Because this game has a rule that if you use a move that vacuums somebody, they are not in the corner anymore, even if you put them back in the corner. So, technically, as soon as I do this at one more cancel, as soon as I do that, I can literally just run. For the clip, I did the mix-up the way I wanted to do it, but technically, I could LTG run. I could go, I could do this for like 10 seconds, and he still would not be in the corner. The game just forgets that you're in the corner if you vacuum them and you don't do anything about it. It's very, very funny. I went for this one time in tournament, and I fucked it up. And by the way, at one point, this was in Blaze Blue, but they took it out. At one point. I don't know if it's in Persona right now, by the way. But this only works once. This is a gimmick. Okay, then we have this. This one's no memes. I think you just don't block this. I think you just don't block this like at all. There's no weird system things. It's just because of a wall bounce. This funny enough, this is the same as the lore mix-up we saw before, just with an instant overhead option. Also, ignore Philia. Philia in half speed is I don't know what we're listening to. And we had to include a bunch of Skullgirls because the #1 comment on that video was there's no Skullgirls mix, which is crazy. Okay, so next, collision box mix-ups. We're almost at the end. We've come a long way. We've come a long way. You know, some of the beginning ones, you were like, I get it. It's kind of cheap. You know, or oh man, like you covered all those options, kind of cheap. But with the corner steals, that's where I started seeing some people are like, dude, how do you find this shit? Like, what the fuck? Collision box mix-ups. What do we have? Alright, be honest. Be honest. Who blocked that? Who blocked that? Be honest. Be honest. Very evil. Do I have to challenge you? This is bad funny. So pretty much the idea behind this is that, and I'm gonna see if I explain this correctly, but in overdrive he gets to extend his ice moves. So you set up something here where you do JD at the end, and it puts you here because you're frozen, and it kind of doesn't put you all the way in the corner. And before using 5B, which pulls you out of the corner, a crumb, leading to all sorts of shenanigans. And this one, by the way, I know people do this. People like do this setup. It just looks very funny. Boom. Now the game doesn't know what to do. The game does not know what to do in this moment. The game is cool. The game is like, what is happening? The game is truly what is happening. And if you're like, man, you could definitely tell the difference, I'm like, bro, can you really tell the difference? Boop. The thing is, it's on like a 4th speed, and he just teleports out the ice. It looks so jank compared to if he stays in the corner. But alright, it gets harder. You might be like, collision box mix in Dragon Ball. What the fuck?
Vegeta, yeah. He wants to get rid of that assist.
That was dirty. I didn't know what side he was going to end up on.
I like that. I did like it.
Into the 2-1 starter. That's how you know he got open.
Be honest. Did you get hit? Did you block this? I don't even know where the hit is. Alright, for my non-Saiyans in the chat, I'll put it at 1/4 speed. Lariat. Vanish. Grounded snap. This is very important for frame data. Grounded snap. Okay. Next. Lariat. So, when you snap someone, the screen is locked. Here. The screen is locked, so I move the screen. I move Bardock, but the screen does not move with Bardock. Okay? And I call Trunks here. Again, the screen does not move. So, this happens. So, in slow motion, it looks not that crazy, like a lot of stuff I've talked about here. In slow motion, what happens is change the future. Vegeta is gonna appear here, so change the future is gonna cover all this shit. He's gonna get pulled down, but because the camera doesn't move, it looks like I should be behind him because I really should. So Trunks pushes me, and then the camera moves when Vegeta comes in. And I am actually under them, but then Bardock's like, what the hell is going on? Vegeta's also like, what is happening? And I tap a button, and I just fucking go like that. Okay? Can you go to the other side? Yeah, all you have to do is not tap 4. Just like that. You could also do this in the corner. You could do this anywhere. This is very strong. Alright, we got another Blaze Blue one for you. Good luck, by the way. This shit is fucking impossible. Looks pretty obvious, right? Not that tricky. Not that tricky, right? Not that tricky. It's just a jump in into the low, right? It's not. Nothing really crazy is going on, right? All right, chat. Did you block that first mix-up? Did you block the first clip? Everyone's holding back, right? Yes. I just wanna confirm. Everyone is holding back. So you think you blocked it, right?
Watch this clip again, but watch where my mouse is. Watch the lever. You see this lever? It's holding back just like you.
Did you block that? It's holding back just like you. It's holding back. You blocked that, right? Oh my god, you don't even know what is fucking happening to you.
Watch the lever, watch the lever, watch the lever. Oh wow, they're holding forward this time. Why? For why?
It was a cross-up?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Alright. Let's watch this again.
Okay. Now we've learned that this is indeed a cross-up, but why did she land in the corner?
Why did she land in the corner?
Alright, I'm gonna block this whack-ass mix-up.
Alright, it's definitely a cross-up.
But she lands in the corner, what the fuck?
Alright, I'm gonna do my best to explain this. This was explained to me. But I'm going to do my best to explain this.
As you know, one thing that has changed about fighting games is fighting games give far more information than they used to.
In the current age of fighting games, the game will tell you that this is a cross-up.
The game will literally tell you this is a cross-up. They'll do something. There'll be some indicator to tell you that you blocked incorrectly. But in older games, you don't really have that.
So, essentially what's going on here is, at the end of this combo, okay, teleport, okay, and then she hits again into a launch. Now this launch does have a follow-up, but he doesn't use it here, right? So he teleports here, and you see how she is like behind Jin. So here, by jumping forward, there's it's a crumb of corner space, and they correct. And from here, it's similar. I want to say this is similar to the lychee thing of this is easy way of being in the corner without you realizing. Boom. So you have to block this cross up. If you weren't looking at this, like many of you in the stream chat, if you weren't looking at this, you literally didn't know you got hit by something, and you would just be like, my controller's fucking up, or like, I definitely was standing up, what the fuck, something. You would say something about this. I've heard this many times as well. Call back to before, but the LK hits people with safe jumps. I don't understand. Oh, I said this wrong. It's a hard-coded function in the D teleport recovery state that sets her position past the opponent until she lands. Smile. But then there's another layer of the mix-up too, which, like we mentioned before, is that she can land on either side when she does this mix-up. Boom. You have no data.
You have nothing. You have nothing. You have nothing. You have nothing. So not only do you have the cross-up that literally does not look like a cross-up at all, but in the case that they do actually block it correctly, she can land on either side. So and it also has a thing of maintaining advantage with something that's really fucked up.
This thing is super powerful.
Here is the last one. What happens when there is no cross-up protection? You might think this one's a little anticlimactic
because it has to be this. And as a reminder, right? As a reminder, it is the fact that there's no crossup protection. This, by the way, this is not easy to set up. This would probably happen 1 out of like 15 games against an Asuka player. It's not common. This is not a common thing. But this is basically like the Faust thing. This is every projectile is a 50-50 pretty much because he can teleport at any time because they're all guard crush. But he needs the right stuff to do it. Asuka players already do it, but it's just not easy to set up. It's legitimately not easy to set up. There's stuff that's far easier to set up that just gives like simple high lows and stuff like that. And you might think this is over, but I do have a bonus because there's one specific thing that I didn't put in here that you know, I was wrapping up. I didn't get like quite enough time to grab it, but I do have it in my we do actually have to watch this. But this is the last level. You know, we went from like fair to unfair, right? But you notice I talked about like mostly like tournament games. So like for lack of a better word, competitive fighting games. So that means there's one mandatory thing that we have to watch. Yeah, you have to. You do have to. The actual Hell Zone. You guys blocking this? He pops off. And basically this shit. This is the reason why we have all these like protections and shit. Is because of shit like this. Any questions? This was kind of long. It was like 57 slides.